Have you ever stopped to wonder why you were born in that exact month and not another? Was it really just a coincidence? Or did your soul know exactly what it was doing? What if I told you that time is not just a calendar, but a symbolic field that shapes your psyche from your very first breath? In this video, we're going to reveal why your birth month is not just a date. It's an archetypal portal, and more than that, how it holds the hidden keys to your personality, your gifts, your wounds, and even your soul's mission. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover may forever change how you see yourself, and maybe even help you remember who you truly are. If you love spirituality, symbolism, deep psychology, and the world of Jung, subscribe to the channel now, because this is just the beginning of a much greater journey. Have you ever felt like you carry a sensitivity that not everyone understands, or a deep inner strength that seems to have been born with you, as if it existed even before you could understand the world? Maybe that's because you were not born by accident. Jung believed that time is not linear. He said that the moment of birth is a symbolic point, where invisible forces shape our essence. We're not talking about magazine astrology. We're talking about living archetypes, collective images that dwell within the human unconscious. Your birth month is more than a number. It's an energetic frequency, a symbolic code, a calling that your soul chose to enter this existence. And right now, you may be asking, but how does this affect me today? What does this have to do with the challenges I face, the way I love, create, suffer, everything? Because the symbol that greeted you at birth still lives within you, and perhaps your greatest strength lies in recognizing that archetypal signature that never left your side. Throughout this video, we'll explore each month as a spiritual portal and reveal the gifts and shadows it imprints on the soul of those born under its energy. But before we dive into the months, we need to understand one fundamental truth. The soul does not choose a birth date through logic. It chooses through symbolic resonance. It enters the world at the exact moment when the right archetypes are active, in the perfect frequency for its life purpose. And maybe you've never realized this, but your greatest gift, and also your greatest pain, were already encoded in the month you were born. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to begin recognizing the signs that have always been there. And you'll discover that you weren't born in a month. You were born in a frequency. Do you remember how the sky looked on the day you were born? What was in the air at that moment? Was it summer or winter? Was it raining or was the sun shining bright? Was the world quiet or pulsing with movement? Maybe you've never thought about that before, but Jung did, and his vision might change the way you see the most decisive moment of your existence, your birth. Jung said that everything surrounding us at the moment we're born is not random. It's symbolic. And more than that, it's psychologically meaningful. The weather, the light, the season, even the archetypes moving within the collective unconscious. All of it leaves an invisible imprint, an energetic mark on our soul, as if reality whispered in that moment, "It's time. You're ready. This is your moment." But what are these impressions? Imagine that the soul is outside of linear time. It watches, it waits, and chooses the exact moment when the archetypal portal opens. Each month of the year is like a specific symbolic field, with its own frequencies, challenges, and gifts. January vibrates differently from July. April carries a pulse that October will never have. Because time, according to Jung, is not just chronological. It is qualitative. It speaks in symbols. It shapes. It prepares. And the soul, as it crosses this portal, breathes in deeply the archetypes of that time, as if it were absorbing the psychic climate, the symbolic light, the sound of the invisible. And here's the point few truly understand. These archetypal impressions do not fade. They become the underlying fabric of our personality, the way we feel, the way we dream, the way we create, the way we suffer. It's as if we are born into a story already in motion, and that story continues through us. Now tell me, are your oldest fears really rooted only in this life? Or could they be connected to that initial imprint left by reality itself as you entered the world? And what if your greatest virtues, that intuition, that strength, that sensitivity, weren't just traits of yours, but archetypal inheritances from the time that welcomed you? Most people live their entire lives without ever looking at that moment with reverence. But the ancients knew, the shamans knew, the initiates always knew. Birth is a ritual, and time is a symbolic mirror that imprints your deepest truth. That's why, before we dive into the 12 months and their archetypes, you need to understand something essential. The first code of your soul is not in what you've learned, but in what you carried from the beginning. And maybe you don't need to discover something new. Maybe you just need to remember what already lives within you. Have you ever noticed how each person is born with a kind of soul climate? Some arrive with a thirst for purpose. Others come into the world with the eyes of an artist. Some seem to carry a sorrow they can't explain, or a silent strength that inspires without making a sound. That's not random. It's symbolic. It's archetypal. Carl Jung taught us that the soul is born within a collective field, and that this field is shaped by primordial images present in every culture, mythology, and human dream. These images are the archetypes, and by being born in a particular month, it's as if you were initiated into one of these fields, as if a symbolic figure whispered to you, "Welcome. This is your task. This is your gift. And this will also be your cross." January is not just the first month. It is the archetype of the achiever. July is not just the midpoint of the year. It is the home of the silent healer. Each month holds a hidden mirror of the psyche, with gifts to blossom and shadows to integrate. And before you ask, "But does this really apply to me?" I invite you to listen with an open heart, because maybe as you hear about your month, you will recognize yourself between the lines. Or maybe you'll realize that everything you thought was a flaw was actually a misunderstood gift. In the next few minutes, you'll journey through the 12 portals of time. And with each one, we will reveal the archetype that welcomed you, the gifts it planted in you, and also the shadows that challenge you to grow. But before we begin, take a moment, breathe, and ask yourself, am I ready to remember who I am? Because now, we're about to open the first door. We begin with January, the one who arrives in the world thirsty for a mission, but also carrying the weight of expectations on their shoulders. You were born at the start of the cycle. When everyone is still dreaming of what could be, you're already building. The archetype that welcomed you is the achiever. The soul, born in January, carries a natural sense of purpose. It was born to make things happen, to give form to the invisible, to open paths where there was only intention before. But with that strength comes a silent burden. The burden of always needing to appear strong, of carrying not only your own dreams, but those of others as well. Have you ever felt like you have to handle everything, even when no one asks? Have you found yourself being the responsible one, the example, the pillar, and at the same time, the most exhausted? This is the pain of the achiever. To be recognized for what you deliver, but rarely seen for who you truly are. Your gift is clear direction. Your challenge is to remember that you don't need to prove your worth all the time. And if you dare to let go of that weight, you will discover that your true power lies not in control, but in presence. February. You were born when the world begins to dream in color. The archetype that welcomed you is the intuitive artist. The soul born in February carries the sensitivity of one who sees beyond form, who feels before understanding, and dances with ideas no one else can perceive. Your gift is creative imagination, refined intuition, a symbolic gaze. You are like water. You adapt, you flow, but you can also scatter. Your shadow? It is instability. The struggle to grow roots. That constant feeling of having one foot in the sky and the other without ground. Have you ever felt misunderstood? As if your language was made of sensations others don't know how to translate? This is the pain of the artist, to not find a place in the world, because your true place is between worlds. But don't try to fit in. Your power lies in creating new spaces, in turning chaos into beauty, feelings into art, emptiness into vision. March. The emotional alchemist. You were born when the seasons shift, when the world sighs between one cycle and the next. The archetype that welcomed you is the emotional alchemist. You are made of intuition and depth. You feel what no one says. You perceive what no one shows. Your soul is like a living laboratory. You turn emotions into wisdom, wounds into empathy, silence into poetry. But there is a price to feel so much. Your shadow is emotional fluctuation, the difficulty of staying grounded in a world that constantly moves through you. Have you ever felt unstable even while deeply wanting something? Have you been called too much, overly sensitive, or always changing your mind? Maybe it's not weakness. Maybe it's alchemy in progress. You are constantly transmuting. And because of that, you must learn to anchor your energy. Not to stop feeling, but not to lose yourself in every sensation either. Your gift is emotional fluidity. Your challenge is inner grounding. April. You were born when life begins to sprout from the earth. The archetype that welcomed you is the guardian of the essential. Your soul has roots. You feel things with depth, loyalty, and courage. Your gift is knowing what truly matters. You protect what you love. You hold firm to what many would abandon. But every root, if too rigid, can break. Your shadow is the fear of losing control, the fear of opening up, of being vulnerable. Have you ever found yourself fighting to keep things the way they've always been? Felt that if you let go, everything would fall apart? The soul born in April learns early to trust only what it can touch. But its greatest lesson is something else: to trust life, even when it changes, even when it invites you to let go of what seems essential, to discover what is truly real. Your gift is loyalty. Your challenge is surrender. May you were born when the world blooms slowly with wisdom. The archetype that welcomed you is the silent builder. You are made of calm, constancy, and presence. While many chase the spotlight, you build in silence. You observe, you feel, and only then you act. Your gift is practical wisdom, genuine generosity, the nurturing kind of love. But behind that serenity, there is often invisibility. Have you ever felt like people only notice you when they need something? Have you feared change, even when the calling inside was strong? That is your shadow. Fear of transformation. Attachment to stability. The silence that protects you, but also hides you. But the world needs your unique way of caring, and you will only be truly seen when you dare to bloom for yourself too. Your gift is solidity. Your challenge is change. June. You were born when the light begins to fade, and the veils between worlds grow thinner. The archetype that welcomed you is the guardian of the invisible. You see what the eyes cannot. You sense subtle nuances, vibrations, silences, gestures. Your soul is like a spiritual antenna, attuned to what is sacred, to what is hidden. Your gift is deep intuition, psychic vision, natural access to what cannot be explained with words. But this connection comes at a cost. Your shadow is loneliness, withdrawal, the constant feeling that you live in a world apart. Have you ever felt that no one truly understands you? That to survive, you have to hide or pretend to be more normal? You didn't come into this world to be ordinary. You came to remind others that there is more. Your challenge is to trust your sensitivity as a gift, not a flaw. Your gift is spiritual vision. Your challenge is to step out of the shadows and allow yourself to be seen. July, you were born when the world turns inward. The cold invites warmth. The heart longs for depth. The archetype that welcomed you is the silent healer. Your soul came to feel, and to transform what it feels into healing. You are the kind of person who carries comfort in your gaze and protection in your presence. Your gift is intuitive empathy, quiet emotional wisdom, affection that needs no words. But to feel so much also has a cost. Your shadow is feeling too much, the tendency to hide so you don't bother anyone or to carry pain that isn't even yours. Have you ever cried in silence just so no one would worry? Have you ever held on to wounds for years because others have bigger problems, but those who care for everyone also need to be cared for? Your challenge is to remember that self-nurturing isn't selfish, it's survival. Your gift is a compassionate heart. Your challenge is not abandoning yourself. August. You were born when the world begins to awaken again. The light returns with strength. The soul remembers its power. The archetype that welcomed you is the spiritual leader. You were born to inspire, to lead with courage, to break patterns, open paths, and show others what's possible. Your gift is natural leadership, courage in the face of life, faith in yourself and the force that moves you. But along with that light comes pride, the difficulty of asking for help, the fear of depending on others, of seeming fragile, of losing control. Have you ever felt like you have to be strong all the time? That showing vulnerability is dangerous. Your soul came to guide. Mani sai, but guiding is not dominating. It's inspiring with truth, with presence, with authenticity. Your gift is the fire that moves. Your challenge is remembering that even the sun needs the night to shine. September. You were born when everything seeks balance. Nature softens. The cycle adjusts. and your soul came with that same calling, to harmonize. The archetype that welcomed you is the balancer. You sense dissonance before anyone speaks. You pick up the tension in the air and try, gently or silently, to reorganize everything around you. Your gift is justice, balanced perspective, the pursuit of peace without escaping reality. You have a talent for uniting opposites, bringing beauty, building bridges. But there is a hidden pain behind it all. Have you noticed how much pressure you put on yourself? How much you try to be perfect, not out of vanity, but out of fear that a mistake might disrupt the balance? Your shadow is perfectionism disguised as self-control. The difficulty of showing your imperfections, of saying, "I don't know either. I feel too deeply." But being human isn't about being exact. It's about being whole. Your gift is adjustment. Your challenge is accepting that imperfection is sacred too. October. You were born when the veils between worlds grow thinner, and love begins to be felt in deeper ways. The archetype that welcomed you is the soul lover. You came into the world with a magnetism that can't be explained. You draw people in with your gaze, touch with your presence, transform with your intensity. Your gift is authentic bonding. You seek true connection and feel repelled by anything shallow. But the same heart that loves deeply also fears losing. Your shadow is emotional attachment, the tendency to hold on out of fear, or to use love as a way to control. Without realizing it, have you ever felt anxious for love? Felt afraid of not being enough and tried to become everything? Your challenge is remembering that love is not possession, it's liberation, and you will only be fully loved when you are, first and foremost, fully yourself. November. You were born when the earth prepares to die, but also to be reborn. The archetype that welcomed you is the deep transformer. Your soul came to walk between worlds, between what dies and what is born, between what seems like an end and what is truly a beginning. You are intense, magnetic, sensitive to hidden truths. Your gift is regeneration. The ability to heal by diving deep, by facing the darkness and saying, "I can handle this." But that depth can be intimidating. Have you ever felt heavy, emotionally burdened, struggled to trust, felt afraid to surrender? Because you know how much it can hurt? Your shadow is attachment to wounds, the fear of opening up and being betrayed, or the tendency to test yourself too much, as if you don't deserve lightness. But you didn't come to this world to stay trapped. You came to transmute. Your gift is rebirth. Your challenge is to remember, you don't have to bleed to be strong. December. You were born when the year says goodbye, but the soul prepares to begin again. The archetype that welcomed you is the wandering sage. You carry the wisdom of someone who has lived 1,000 journeys, and the lightness of one who knows that everything passes. Your soul is restless, curious, free. You came into the world with faith in the path ahead and a sparkle in your eyes that says, "I still believe." Your gift is spontaneous spirituality, wisdom that needs no degrees, hope that walks through chaos. But even lightness can hide a wound. Have you ever promised more than you could deliver? Escaped commitments just to preserve your sense of freedom? Felt your soul fade when staying too long in one place or in one relationship? Your shadow is escape disguised as expansion, the tendency to turn pain into distraction, to run when the true master within you is asking for only one thing: silence. Your gift is living faith. Your challenge is to be fully present, even in the simple moments. You came to inspire, but you must remember, the most beautiful wisdom is the one lived with your feet on the ground. Now that we've walked through the 12 symbolic portals of time, return to your month. Return to the moment your soul chose. To be born, nothing was by chance. The sky was watching. The world was waiting. And the archetypes were ready to receive you. Carl Jung said that the process of individuation, the journey of becoming who you truly are, begins when we look back at our point of origin. And you? Are you ready to revisit your origin? To embrace your gift and also your shadow? Because often, what's missing isn't learning something new. It's remembering what already lives within you. You were not born in a month. You were born in an archetypal frequency. You are the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between time and eternity. If this message resonated with your soul, like this video and share it with someone who also needs to remember who they are. And if you want to continue this symbolic journey with us, subscribe to the channel now, because there is so much more to come. Time is just beginning to speak to you.